Morning, guys. Yeah, Monday morning. Hope you're all well and enjoying, well, wherever you are. If you've got a little bit of brief sunshine, makes a change with what we've been seeing. I just want to touch on, obviously, there's been a lot of scandal going on within the Labour Party. Loads of councillors as well resigned. I think it was 20 odd up in Oldham. And it looks like Starmer's not going to be able to hold the dam that's breaking with a flood of information regarding certain politicians within his party, and it's not looking good for him, to be honest. But also, talking about the centre-right, there's obviously reform seem to be on the way up, but there's problems. And I want to just touch on a couple of those, obviously. And it's a small word called trust. And how far do you trust the leader of reform, Nigel Farage? I mean, if there was an election next week, I would probably put my ex in the box for reform, because it's the usual adage, isn't it? It's the best we got. But I don't think that's good enough, because I think the people are getting desperate and we're being let down. We're desperate for change. We're desperate because of what's been going on these last 3 decades. We've been lied to, the corruption is running rife, and we deserve better. And I was really pinning my hopes on reform. Now, going back a few years, I actually stood as a candidate. This is just prior to this election coming up, that's just been, which was back in July. But I was stood over a year. And the reason I left was because certain comments that were made and certain videos put out. The two I'm going to talk about, first of all, is Richard Tice and Dr. David Ball. I didn't agree with their vaccine mandates and the way they were pushing it for the NHS staff, especially the care workers as well. And they didn't seem to row back on young children getting it either, which another thing I totally disagreed with. Then came Matt Hancock's book launch, which Richard Tice attended. That flagged up another red herring, or red flag, basically. And then there was Nigel talking about endorsing Tony Blair as the vaccines are, and he's saying, well, I've never agreed with a lot of what Tony Blair has said or done, but on this I agree with. And then I thought, what on earth is he saying, you know? It was shortly after that I got in touch with Reform and I stepped away. They had to parachute another candidate in just prior to this general election. Don't forget, obviously, that Sunak triggered it early, and a lot of the fringe parties, if you like, didn't have enough time to organise themselves, especially go around canvassing. That was out of the question. So the candidate that they did put in my constituency in Gloucestershire, he lost the seat to, it was the Tory leader, the Tory MP. He lost to the Lib Dems, so the Lib Dems got him. But the Reform candidate, he lost. Anyway, so besides that, I'm talking about Nigel Farage and how much we can trust him. Now, he's been saying a lot of things lately which I don't agree with, and he's been rowing back on a few things, and he seems more centrist, or even more liberal, to be honest, even more liberal. And the only MP within that party that are making all the right noises is Rupert Lowe. I was disappointed with the way Ben Habib was treated as well when Nigel took the reins, and I thought he would have made a much better leader. In fact, both Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe, as far as I'm concerned, would do a much better job running that party. But there you go. So really, as I say, if there was a general election next week or whatever, I'd probably put my ex because, you know, in the box, because it's better than what we got, definitely. I mean, we can't carry on with this two-party system we've had for decades and decades, because all it is just passing the baton. And the British people deserve better, to be honest. We just can't put up with this anymore. And I was really hoping that reform was going to be the voice of the people, but it doesn't seem to be going that way at the moment. I'm really hoping that there's going to be a bit of a change within the leadership. That's what I'm hoping. But there you go. We'll wait and see. Anyway, guys, listen, have a good day, and I'll speak to you later. You take care now. Bye.